The fifth day. This following day dawned and at breakfast it was not Rico who came to my room to serve me food or to clear away my plates. Instead it was one of the other girls, Yoshiko. For in this case girl was the incorrect term to use. Yoshiko was undeniably a woman, with sharply curved, not quiet, contained by her cotton kimono and a certain air of self-confidence that teenagers are generally too awkward to possess. Yoshiko had slanted, fox-like eyes that sparkled with mischief and very full, red lips that always seemed to be pursed or half open. She was an attentive hostess, very smiley, who talked to me casually while she served my food. She had heard about the commotion between Miss Kakuchi and I, of course, and she seemed to find it amusing.
"You made a mistake, mister. Trying to make a move in Reiko,"
said Yoshiko as she poured me a cup of green tea. She had rolled the sleeve of her kimono back, displaying her wrist, and then a sliver of arm. More than a sliver. I could see all the way up to her elbow. I wondered if she had done it on purpose. Maybe she was trying to seduce me. Or maybe she was simply trying to entertain herself. She seemed like the kind of woman who liked making men squirm, and unlike Reiko, she was not the sort who would give an accidental flash of too much flesh. It was all very calculated.
"Miss Kakuchi loves her daughter,"
Yoshiko continued with her little prattle as the tea hit the bottom of the cup. She would probably wrestle a bear for her in the snow, naked. That was not a mental image I wanted, but it was so ludicrous. It made me smile all the same. You almost make her sound like a demon, I said. Yoshiko giggled, setting the teapot to one side with another sweep of her sleeve.
"Oh, Miss Kakuchi can be very frightening when she wants. No ogre could ever hope to bear her when she's in a bad mood."
Yoshiko shook her head.
"Last year there was a guest staying at the inn who took a real shine to Reiko. He was tall enough to be her grandfather. Older than you, mister, and he should have known better, but maybe when you get to that age, you stop caring about this sort of thing. If you're going to die soon, you might as well. Why worry about public opinions when you have one foot in the grave already?"
"Oh. I said I might have sounded non-committal, but I was actually very interested in Yoshiko's story. Even if I didn't have a vested interest in the subject matter, I would have been intrigued regardless. Yoshiko was a good storyteller. This man was always chasing after Reiko. When she delivered his food, he kept sending it back, sometimes 3 or 4 times, so he could see her again. You know, it might have been sweet, maybe, if it had stopped there, but he was so very insistent. In the end, it became unnerving." Yoshiko sighed, as for sympathy for the poor set upon Reiko of last year. I wondered what the Reiko this old man had coveted looked like. I doubted she would have looked that much different to the current Reiko, except a bit smaller maybe. Even smaller than she was already. I clenched my teeth together. All of a sudden I felt rather angry.
"I felt sorry for the poor thing. She's been trained to say yes to her mother her life, and nobody ever taught her no. She just tried to bear with the attention as best as she could. I think she was worried if her mother knew. She'd blame her for it somehow. You've seen how particular Miss Kakuchi gets about her sleeves."
"Yeah, I noticed."
"Since Reiko wasn't going to say anything in the end, I had to step in. I couldn't stand the sight of her, so sad and forlorn, it was heartbreaking."
I can imagine," I said. I was feeling distinctly out of sorts listening to the tale, and was being told secondhand. This man was no longer staying in the Azami Inn. Probably. Why then did I feel such a desperate desire to throttle him? So you are not... I'm not alone with that. I mean... Reiko is so freaking precious. I mean, to our character, she would be like a daughter, right? So of course you want to protect her. To me, she's... I don't know, maybe like more like younger sister, which I don't have, but I guess that's how it is, and because of that I would do the same to that guy. I would want to do the same to that guy. Destroy him. And violence is not in my nature as well, I think. Violence was not my nature, and I was started by the intensity of my own feelings. I just couldn't bear the thought of Reiko suffering. When Miss Kakuji heard, she was outraged but not at Reiko. That man! Yoshiko's lips curved into a sly smile. Let's just say, he'll never be coming back here again. You make it sound like Miss Kakuji killed him. She was close to it. The old man nearly had a seizure, said Yoshiko, grinning. Well, good, I said curtly. I don't regard myself as a malicious person, and the thought of an elderly man suffering is not the kind of thought that would make me say good under normal circumstances, but these were not normal circumstances. This was about Reiko. Yoshiko must have been amused at my stony indifference to the old man's plight, because she began to chuckle. I thought much the same. We all did. We're glad to see him go. I respect Miss Kakuji a lot back then. Yoshiko brushed a strand of dark hair behind her ear before continuing with her tale. People don't like Miss Kakuji overly much, and I can't say I blame them. She's not an easy person to get on with. You can't help but respect her, for even if people don't like her, they respect her, and respect can be a hard thing to get. Here's the thing, for, said Yoshiko, her voice softening. You can say what you want about Miss Kakuji, but she does love Reiko. She really, truly loves her. She's completely devoted to her. I did get the feeling, yeah, I said after a pause. Her love for her daughter seems rather intense. Of course it's intense. Miss Kakuji doesn't have anyone else in her life to love. Her husband is dead, and she never liked him very much anyway. No? I asked, curious despite myself. Really, I wondered how I had become such a gossip. I was just as bad as the housewife Sachiko spoke with at her art classes. Not that Sachiko has any aspirations of being a painter. Sachiko doesn't have any aspirations at all, really. She's a remarkable, unambitious woman. She only attends those classes so she can swap recipes and share stories with the legions of other bored middle-aged women who paint loop-sided vases every Wednesday for want of something better to do. In my defense, there really was nothing else to do in the Asamin than swap stories. I've been working for almost 15 years, and I remember old Nobu, for only vaguely. He really was old, and that is the figure of speech. He had a good 20 years on Miss Kakuji, said Yoshiko. That's a huge difference in age. Too huge. Then I take in their mirth was not a happy one, I inquired. Yoshiko pondered, glancing to one side as she did so. Well, Nobu wasn't a cruel man. He could be a bit blunt sometimes, but so can Miss Kakuji. But maybe she became blunt after being married to him for so long. Yoshiko frowned. I don't think they were unhappy, but they weren't happy either. Then why did she marry him? The villagers said... Say, she did it for money. But the inn is failing. But the inn is failing, isn't it?
It is now, but that wasn't always the case. The Kakuchi family used to be rather wealthy.
I stapled my fingers together, resting the elbows against the cloth, and pondered. In any case,
Miss Kakuchi doesn't have any family nearby, said Yoshiko. She doesn't have any friends, she only has Reiko.
That sounds rather stifling, I said, my voice trailing away. I didn't know whether I was talking about Reiko or her mother.
It is stifling. It's stifling for both of them, said Yoshiko. For Reiko loves Miss Kakuchi, and Miss Kakuchi certainly undoubtedly loves Reiko. It's not a healthy love. I'm worried about them, both of them.
If you truly love something, you should let go, I said, reciting a tried and tested cliché as old as the shrine, the forest, and the trees that surrounded it. Yoshiko nodded.
That's right. Miss Kakuchi loves Reiko, but I don't think she loves her enough to let her live.
Huh. I passed most of the day in my room, trying to write but getting nowhere. When I closed my eyes, Reiko was all I could think about. Maybe I wasn't so very dissimilar to Miss Kakuchi after all. Miss Kakuchi clung to Reiko, twining her arms about her like vines because she was desperate and lonely, and above all else, she loved her. She loved Reiko so much it was like slow-acting poison. A special kind of sickness. Miss Kakuchi loved her daughter much it was going to kill her. But wasn't I the same? When Yoshiko had regaled me with stories about a young Reiko attempting to fend off an overly eager suitor, I too had been nettled by the gross injustice of it all. In such a situation, I fear I would have behaved much like Miss Kakuchi had. It was little wonder, then, that Reiko, who appeared to attract unwholesome men, was kept under such close eye by her mother. After that incident, Miss Kakuchi must have been even more sensitive to the covert glances men shot her precious little girl. But Reiko was not a little girl anymore. She was a child on the cusp of becoming a young woman. Surely Reiko was old enough now to know what she wanted. But how could one blame Miss Kakuchi for being concerned about our relationship? I hardly knew Reiko, yet I had been spending a good deal of time with her, away from the protection of Miss Kakuchi's ever-watchful gaze. I remember wondering if that was what this looked like to Miss Kakuchi, a repeat performance from last year, a much belated curtain call. I was another old man trying to steal away her baby, just as Miss Kakuchi herself had been stolen years upon years ago. This time, however, the situation was rather more precarious because Reiko wanted to go off with me willingly. I wondered why. Was that because she genuinely liked me? Had fireworks stirred her soul so much she wanted nothing more than to stay by my side like a poetic muse? It seemed. I didn't doubt that Reiko enjoyed my company. She must have, else she wouldn't have sought it out of her volition. But there was something a touch delirious about the smiles she bequeathed me. They weren't like Yoshiko's smiles, which were casual and easy without asking for anything in return. I had wondered before, but this thought came back to me during these Reiko-less hours as I stared at the falling snow through my open window. Maybe in her own immature, unsuspecting manner, Reiko's trying to manipulate me. How dare you even think that? I think.